What does that mean in the context of this conversation? The three expected ones: learning, future, collaboration. But I think there are other words that help us focus our conversations over the next few days. And again, I ask you to reflect upon what each of these words means to you in this context of conversation. Anticipated, unknown, excited, uncertain. Listen, ask. Feel, question. Ponder, puzzle, pause. Engage, wonder, explore, and welcome.
That sounded almost like an imagist poem, by William Carlos Williams or... But that was, I think, fantastically bulleted. And as you said, so the three principles: future, learning, collaboration. So thank you, Peter, for that. I would now request the chief guest on the occasion, Honorable Minister of Education of India, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, to come here and deliver the keynote address. Sir.
Good morning to all. Sri Ajay Piramal, President, Ananta National University. Dr. Peter Ekel, Director of Leadership Program, University of Pennsylvania. Dr. Jagdish Kumar, Chairman, UGC. Dr. Pramath Raj Sinha, Founding Provost, Ananta National University. Dr. Anune Chobe, Provost, Anant National University. Delegates from 13 countries. Delegates from different states of India. My dear students, faculty, promoter of this university, dignitaries, friends from the media. I am delighted to be here at this international conference on a very important topic, future of learning. Friends, my fast learning, I am a socio-political activist. We all are fond of microphones. When we got opportunity to give a speech, we can compete with a professor. Professor's time span is 45 minutes. Our time span is minimum 1 hour 45 minutes. Today, but I am not going to engage all of you in that much of time. When I'm talking about future of learning, my today's learning are so many, but fast learning is Professor Ekel's speech model. Very focused, bullet pointed, and nothing here and there. I borrowed this piece of paper from him. When I'm thinking why he is, what kind of professor he is. He's a professor of leadership. This is his past teaching of leadership. You must have to focus, you must have to be very deep into your subject. Friends, so we all are here, as I said, very important collaborative conference on a very important subject of the entire human civilization, future of learning. Learning of what? How do we in the modern world, how do we, from ancient to modern, how do we define the learning process? The entire process is known as knowledge, education, empowerment. Being in charge of country's education sector, my little understanding of education is the weapon of empowerment, is the bridge of past to future, present to future. And we're talking about future of learning, future of education. When India is presiding over the G20 presidency, we all are here to deliberate on this important subject. When we are in the mid of the Industrial Revolution 4.0, when we have crossed fast 2 decades of 21st century, there is a consensus among the global opinion maker, global policy makers, 21st century is going to be the century of knowledge, century through empowerment of knowledge. Friends, when we are organizing G20 in our country, Prime Minister Modi envisioned to enhance the beneficiary of G20 deliberation. India has created a new forum of Global of South. We invited all the emerging economy. How do we fulfill the aspiration of all those countries? India is the custodian of their interest also. This G20 presidency will also deliberate the aspiration of those segments of society. And today, I am here in an important academic institution whose foundation is holistic. In the modern time, in the industrial revolutionary phase, in the era of different economic phase, how do we define design thinking? What is the meaning of design thinking? And rightly this institution has summarized that design thinking in its own way, localized that, contextualized that in own way, primarily in the India-centric way, Indic-centric way, empathy, define the problem, ideate the problem, create a prototype and test in the society.
ही नहीं है, इस पर ध्यान नहीं दिया। 2014 में इस देश में 60 करोड़ लोग ऐसे थे जिनके परिवार में किसी के पास बैंक अकाउंट ही नहीं था। आप मान सकते हैं? 60 करोड़ लोगों के परिवार में बैंक अकाउंट नहीं था, उनका भारत के अर्थतंत्र के साथ कोई जुड़ाव ही नहीं था। वो 60 करोड़ लोगों को लिए पूरा दिन कल क्या खाना है उसकी चिंता करने में ही जाता था। ज्यादा से ज्यादा हम हमारे परिवार को कैसे सुविधापूर्ण जीवन दे सकते हैं। नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने 9 साल के अंदर इनकी ये चिंता से उनको मुक्त कर दिया। आज हर परिवार के अंदर बैंक अकाउंट है, हर घर के अंदर गैस का सिलेंडर है, 11 करोड़ शौचालय बनाकर हमने हर घर के अंदर स्वच्छता का और स्वास्थ्य का वातावरण खड़ा किया है। 8.7 करोड़ घरों में शुद्ध पीने का पानी नल से पहुंचाने का काम किया है, जो अब तक नहीं पहुंचा था। 18,000 गांवों में जो बिजली पहुंचाना बाकी थी वहां पहुंचाई। 3 करोड़ घर जहां बिजली नहीं थी उनको बिजली पहुंचाई। पीएम किसान के माध्यम से 11 करोड़ किसानों को हमने ऋण लेने से ही मुक्त कर दिया। 2 करोड़ लोगों को अपना घर दिया और 5 लाख तक का स्वास्थ्य का बीमा हर परिवार को दे दिया। 5 लाख तक उसको हेल्थ रिलेटेड सारे एक्सपेंस की चिंता से मुक्त कर दिया। 48 करोड़ बैंक खाते खोले। डीबीटी के माध्यम से 53 मंत्रालय की 310 से ज्यादा योजनाओं से 24 लाख करोड़ रुपया सीधा कोई घूस दिए बगैर आज इसके बैंक अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर हो जा रहा है। ऐसे अनेक विध सुधार ये 60 करोड़ लोगों की जीवन पद्धति को, जीवन की लाइफस्टाइल को, जीवन स्तर को उठाने के लिए मोदी जी ने किए। अब आपको लगेगा इससे इकोनॉमी का क्या लेना है। सबसे पहले मैं बताता हूं कि अगर 3 करोड़ घर बनते हैं तो जीडीपी बढ़ेगा या नहीं बढ़ेगा। जरा आप मुझे हाँ या ना बोलिएगा भैया, बढ़ेगा या नहीं बढ़ेगा। देश भर में पानी की पाइपलाइन बिछाइए, आप जीडीपी बढ़ेगा या ना बढ़ेगा। 13 करोड़ घर में गैस का सिलेंडर पहुंचाएंगे तो जीडीपी बढ़ेगा या नहीं बढ़ेगा? हर घर में बिजली पहुंचाएंगे, हर गांव में विकास बिजली पहुंचाएंगे तो विकास बढ़ेगा या नहीं बढ़ेगा? ये सारी चीजें जीडीपी को तो कंट्रीब्यूट करती है, परंतु मोदी जी ने एक शुष्क ड्राई जीडीपी को मानवीय चेहरा देने का काम, संवेदना देने का काम कर कर इस 60 करोड़ लोगों के जीवन के अंदर परिवर्तन लाए और दुनिया भर के अंदर एक मानवीय जीडीपी की बढ़ोतरी कैसे हो सकती है, इसका दुनिया में सबसे पहला उदाहरण नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने दिया। क्योंकि मित्रों, इस सभागार में बैठकर आपको लग सकता है टॉयलेट बनाना अब क्या बात कर रहा है जिसका गृह मंत्री मेरे सामने आकर, क्योंकि आप सब लोग बड़ी बड़ी इंडस्ट्री चलाते हो, मगर आप कल्पना करिए किसी भी कारण से आपका घर का टॉयलेट बिखर जाए तो आप क्या करेंगे? 75 साल तक 10 करोड़ लोगों के घर में टॉयलेट ही नहीं था। और इस तरह से हम विकास के अचीवमेंट नहीं कर सकते। मोदी जी ने ये 60 करोड़ लोगों को इनका जीवन स्तर सुधारने के लिए बहुत बड़ा पुरुषार्थ किया। और अब मैं आता हूं इकोनॉमी पर, क्योंकि चिंता से मुक्त कर दिया। आज अब वो जो कमाता है वो छोटी सी स्कूटी लाता है, घर में पंखा लाता है, कोई बच्चों को पढ़ने के लिए मेज लेकर आता है। इसने स्वप्ने देखना शुरू किया है। 60 करोड़ लोगों के पुरुषार्थ देश के विकास के साथ, उनके सपने देश के विकास के साथ जुड़े हैं। और मैं मानता हूं इससे बड़ा हमारी इकोनॉमी के लिए सबसे बड़ा बूस्टर कोई हो ही नहीं सकता। 60 करोड़ लोगों का पुरुषार्थ अगर इकोनॉमी को बढ़ाकर करते, एक बिजनेस की भाषा में कहूं तो 80 करोड़ के मार्केट को मोदी जी ने 130 करोड़ का 140 करोड़ लोगों का मार्केट बना दिया, क्योंकि वो 60 करोड़ लोग मार्केट का हिस्सा ही नहीं थे। आज 140 करोड़ का मार्केट बनाया है। इसका सीधा आपको फायदा कभी नहीं दी। मोदी जी ने सबसे बड़ा काम किया है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है। और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर इन्वेस्टमेंट करने के लिए सरकार के साथ साथ, केंद्र सरकार के साथ साथ राज्य सरकारों को प्रेरित किया नीति आयोग के माध्यम से, और निजी उद्योग घरानों को भी प्रेरित किया। आज लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट जीडीपी की 13% है भारत में, और दुनिया में 8% है। आप लोग स्पर्धा को समझते हैं। जब तक हम इसको नीचे नहीं लाते हैं, हम दुनिया के अंदर एक्सपोर्ट के बाजार में खड़े नहीं रह सकते। 8% और 13% के अंतर को हमें समाप्त करना पड़ेगा। हमने इसका पूरा 5 साल का खाका बनाया। मैं आपको विश्वास देता हूं 5 साल के बाद हम 7.5% लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट पर पहुंचेंगे। लगभग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के क्षेत्र में 100 लाख करोड़ रुपए का इन्वेस्टमेंट करने का हमने प्रोग्राम बनाया है। नेशनल रेल योजना के तहत रेल लाइनों का दोहरीकरण, उसको चौड़ा बनाया जा रहा है। डेडिकेटेड फ्रेट कॉरिडोर मुंबई से दिल्ली और अमृतसर से कोलकाता, भारत को दोनों ओर से जोड़ने का एक बहुत बड़ा प्रयास किया है। और 11 इंडस्ट्रियल कॉरिडोर को हमने परमिशन दे दी है। विद्युत ट्रांसमिशन जो 2014 में 3 लाख सर्किट किलोमीटर था, आज 2022 में 4,63,000 सर्किट किलोमीटर ट्रांसमिशन की लाइनें बिछा दी गई है। पहले 600 ग्राम पंचायतें ऑप्टिकल फाइबर से जुड़ी थी, आज 1,72,000 ग्राम पंचायतें ऑप्टिकल फाइबर से जुड़ चुकी है। नेशनल हाईवे की लेंथ 91,000 किलोमीटर थी, अब 1.46 लाख किलोमीटर हो चुकी है। इसके इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के बगैर आपकी लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट को कम करे बगैर इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट संभव ही नहीं था। बहुत दूरदृष्टि के साथ हमने लक्ष्य रखा है कि 5 साल के बाद मतलब 2028 में लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट देश की एवरेज से हम नीचे लेकर आएंगे, जिससे इंडस्ट्री को दुनिया भर में हमारी चीजों को निर्यात करने के लिए बहुत अच्छा एक राजनीतिक स्थिरता को भी मोदी जी ने देने का काम किया है। जब तक पॉलिटिकल स्थिरता नहीं होती, राजनीतिक स्थिरता नहीं होती है, परिणाम इसमें देश की जनता का भी बड़ा योगदान। 30 साल के बाद पहली बार पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार बनाई, दूसरी बार 300 सीट देकर मोदी जी को मैंडेट दिया और 10 साल का एक कालखंड भारत के डेमोक्रेसी के इतिहास में राजनीतिक स्थिरता के कालखंड से जाना जाता है।
एसोचैम के वार्षिक समारोह में गृह मंत्री का संबोधन कि किस तरह से 2047 तक भारत पूर्ण विकसित राष्ट्र बनने के लक्ष्य के साथ आगे बढ़ रहा है। और आइए अब सीधे रुख करते हैं भाजपा की प्रेस वार्ता का।
कदम उठाया था कांग्रेस, वामपंथी, अनेक अन्य दल विरोध करने के बावजूद भी ये दंतहीन एक आयोग को
टेक्नोलॉजी डिजाइन, friends, this should be the model, and I'm happy. Our challenge in India today, in the age group of 15 to 25, in the age group of 15 to 25, 250 million youngsters are there. Our working population, working age group is 15 to 59. In that age group, 500 million citizens are there. If we put together, around 15-20 million people will be overlapped. Because after 10, everybody is not going to higher education vertical. Due to socio-economic compulsion in our country, people are joining workforce. But challenge in front of my country policy maker, how to create saturation in the education and skilling ecosystem. NEP is giving recommendation in that direction. This is the Prime Minister Modi's design thinking on education. Holistic problem analysis. Solution to entire population. Our governance model is saturation model. Trupti. None of the citizen will be deprived from any basic amenities given by state, given by the system. Then only the entire development can come out. In last 75 years in our country, due to various reasons, lot of good work has been done, lot of good thing has been achieved, but lot of things could have been achieved. Now, how do we achieve that? Only through education empowerment, only through holistic thinking, only through create a samagra darshan. I am happy when I am talking about future of learning. NEP is in our hand. Good isolated models are also there. Today more than 1100 university or institutions are working in the higher education field of India. 1.5 million schools are there. More than 50,000 colleges are there in India. But we have to have a paradigm shift. We have to have a transition from our conventional or education practice of last few decades to a new model. But why you have to do that? That is also part of our design thinking, because in India we believe entire humanity as a family. Entire humankind is our one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. One earth, one family, one aspiration. For this, to achieve this thing, we have to create a new pathway, create a new learning pedagogy, create a future mapping according to that. I am happy, I am delighted. I will expecting this white paper after 3 days deliberation by these global leaders. As a policy in charge, I am eagerly waiting this white paper to come to us, come to UGC, come to NCERT, come to national board like CBSE, will implement your recommendation, and every human being has a capacity to create certain things, but purpose has to infuse in his mind or mind. Why you are studying? What is the purpose of your studying? How you will achieve the target? When the purpose of a cause, purpose of a big mission will be infused in a youngster's mind, then he can create wonders. This is the experience we have from our civilization. I congratulate all of you, those who are studying here. I am little bit jealous of all of you, because in my days I could not find an institution like Ananta National University. But you all are fortunate to part of this important institution, and I congratulate the international participants, those who are here on the invitation of our university. Your contribution will value, will respect, and will implement that in our policy implementation. And finally, I congratulate Mr. Chobe and an entire team, and Mr. Piramal and his entire team, to create a benchmark in our society. This Ananta University, they show me in their presentation, this is one among the Design X university of our country. But according to my little information, I think this is the university, this is the only Design X university in our country today. I congratulate all of you. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging and inspiring words, and for the insights that you have shared that would lead all of us here to deliberate better and more effectively, keeping in mind empowerment and comprehensive education, that will offer us all an integrated vision of the world that we live in, and that's a great idea to work with. I would now request Dr. Pramath Raj Sinha to carry out the next round of the proceedings here, which is a round table discussion with eminent educationists that we have here from different contexts. And I would welcome him here, Pramath, to come and to introduce the notion of this discussion and the participants. Please.
So I'm going to have to throw off some people off stage. So no, Peter is not part of this also. Otherwise we'll run out of chairs. Thank you, Peter. Good afternoon. Is it afternoon yet? Yes, just turned afternoon. Thank you all very much for participating in this session and in this collaborative. I'd like to invite our panelists for this session. First, Dr. Sharon Ravich. Sharon is, and please come up as I call out your name, I'll use the time to just introduce you, is Professor of Practice at the University of Pennsylvania's Graduate School of Education. She has published 8 books spanning leadership, research, and education, and she has 2 master's degrees. Sharon, just, yeah. She has 2 master's degrees from Harvard in Human Development and Psychology and Education, and a doctorate from UPenn itself. May I next invite Dr. Jeff Hayward. Jeff is Professor of Education, Head of Faculty, University of Cambridge. He's also the Associate Director, ESRC Research Center on Skills, Knowledge, and Organizational Performance. Jeff, thank you for being here. May I next invite our very special guest from Africa, Veda Sunasi. I hope that I pronounced that right, Veda. You have a very Indian name, by the way. The CEO of the African Leadership University in Rwanda and the African Leadership University in Mauritius. He has spent over a decade in several roles with the African Leadership Group. Some of you will know that this is one of the most exciting university initiatives in the African continent. And last but not least, Stavros Yanuka. Stavros is the CEO of the World Innovation Summit for Education, WISE. WISE is a global think tank of the Qatar Foundation that is obviously based in Qatar, but they organize several conferences and think it's a reputed think tank, and we expect that he will bring us a perspective from the Middle East. The discussion session is entitled Reimagining Education. We've heard from Shri Pradhan about his views on reimagining education. We haven't really given a chance to Dr. Jagdish Kumar, our UGC chairman, to talk about his views of reimagining education. Dr. Kumar, if I may request you to please kick off this session with your remarks about how you see education evolving. You have the run of the...
No, I know the time constraints.
About 10 minutes.
Right. You know, a great philosopher said, if you want to achieve excellence, dream no small dreams. Today I am privileged to be standing in front of an audience who think big. However, achieving excellence cannot be done by catapulting somebody there. It has to start from basics. So I would like to set the context for the discussion that is going to happen. Friends, all of you, I'm sure, will agree that universities or higher educational institutions are primarily social institutions. They cannot be misunderstood as corporations. It is the universities where we impart bits and pieces of this vast human knowledge to our youngsters so that they become creative and innovative. It is only the universities which do public good research driven by curiosity, not financial goals. It is only the universities where young learners can coexist with cutting edge research so that they are transformed into individuals who will serve the people around them. That is why, friends, it is very, very essential that universities maximize, that they should transform themselves to maximize the social good that they are offering to the people who are educated in those universities. Now let me put before you 3 challenges that we have. If we want to transform our universities into institutions of excellence, there are 3 challenges that stare at us. Number 1, how to make our education, which is based on learning outcomes, how to make our education personalized, and how to make our education, how to impart our education at a mass scale. The days of a university saying that we admit only 2 or 3% of the applicants and therefore we are a great university are over. Our concern also has to be on those 97% of the students who are not lucky enough to be part of a good university. That is why today our focus has turned to massivization of our higher education. India has set a goal for itself to increase the GER, gross enrollment ratio, of 50% by 2035. So why do we have to focus on these three parameters which look contradictory? You know, when you provide high quality education on a mass scale, it leads to higher aggregate learning, and that leads to higher aggregate productivity, which in turn builds better economic systems, and that will then lead to higher gross income, per capita income to the individuals. This will then increase the per capita income of the society, which will then help us to invest public funds in educating large number of people. So you see that it is a regenerative cycle. But all this has to be done based on learning outcomes, based on personalized education. We all want to build institutions of excellence. The logic is very simple. If any country wants to become self-reliant, their youngsters had to be educated, they had to be given high quality education. And what is an institution of excellence? Certainly, I do not consider necessarily those institutions which are in the top 100 in the global rankings. In my view, institutions of excellence are those which impart education which is relevant to the local, regional, and national contexts. Institutions of excellence are those which have governance systems which promote openness, which provide freedom to do research in any discipline that they want to pursue. Institutions of excellence are those which strengthen their academic and research ecosystem. Such institutions also have to be at least partially internationalized so that you have students and faculty moving in and out of our institutions from across the globe. Such institutions should also be part of the global knowledge networks so that you are part of the global networks which in turn will make you a great university, a reputed university. Friends, today, if I go back 3 months, on 1st December 2022, India took over the presidency of the G20 countries. And this has happened in a situation where we are seeing global conflicts, we are seeing increasing inequalities, we are seeing failing economic systems. You all heard about the Silicon Valley Bank, how it has created a flutter in the economic systems. But on the other hand, if you look at India, today India is the third largest ecosystem for startup companies. India is poised to become the third largest economic system in the world. India is becoming the manufacturing hub of the world. India is also rated as one of the top countries in terms of the scientific output. There are so many things that are happening, and that's the reason why our Honorable Prime Minister, he wanted to start the G20 presidency by a program called University Connect, where we brought more than 100 universities and thousands of students across the country, and we began our journey of G20 on 1st December 2022. That is the kind of importance we give to the youth who are sitting there. Our youth in India are aspirational. Why do I say so? Youth in general, they have certain characteristics. As academicians, we all interact with youth every day, and you observe certain characteristics. And please let me know if you disagree with any one of them. Our young people, they want to be lifelong learners. Our young people want to be creative and innovative. They want to be problem solvers and solution providers. They want to be leaders and part of leading groups. They want to take risks and learn from the failures that emanate from these risks. Most of all, they want to become good human beings. So how do we fulfill these aspirations of our young students across the country? And that is where the National Education Policy 2020 plays a very, very important role. As our Honorable Education Minister has said, it is just not a document of 60 pages, but it is a philosophical path that provides to all of us, not just only in India, but across the world. I'm sure the deliberations that will take place will touch upon some of these points, and I also wish great success for your 3 days workshop that is going to take place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Kumar. I think some of the points that you made will be very relevant as we deliberate in our collaborative, particularly the issue of learning outcomes married to personalized learning and then trying to do that at a massive scale and provide access is indeed the challenge that at least we face quite starkly in India, given where we are in our system. I also echo your, identify with your point about the aspirations of youth as well as the married to learning outcomes. We at Anant have therefore coined this idea that for us the learning outcome is that every student should be a solutionary. And this is a word that we coined very early on, which is to say that it's not just enough to be revolutionary. You have to be revolutionary, but you need to be constructive. And you need to come up with solutions that are contextual, that are recognize the society and the community, and not just come up with theoretical answers. So those resonate very well with the way we are approaching this university. Thank you, sir, for being here. And I'll ask to come back to you and the Honorable Minister for some closing remarks at the end of this panel. All of you have mics, so you're welcome to speak from where you are, or you're welcome to come to the dais. What I thought we would do is have each of you take 5 minutes to share 1 or 2 key ideas that you might have about reimagining education. Jeff, it's okay, may I start with you and ask you to tell us what you think should be an area of focus in reimagining education. I hope your mic is working, why don't you?
Give us an opportunity to leapfrog this technological gap. I would like to pointedly mention 2 such emerging technologies, digital technologies and clean and green technologies. We would like to share our growth experiences in these 2 domains so that our African partners can benefit from our expertise. One particular example is the financial inclusion of the entire citizenry through digital technology, through India's innovation of Unified Payment Interface, or UPI, in short. UPI has occasioned a financial revolution from a street vendor to a high-end showroom with an expensive product range. UPI caters to one and all. Moreover, UPI is steadily becoming globally attractive, aimed measures to enable seamless cross-border transactions. Singapore has recently come on board. Friends, our exchanges of ideas and practices are not going to be one-way affairs. We would also like to learn from the experiences of our African friends. I remember distinctly the good work done in Kenya towards financial inclusion through mobile banking. Friends, I am told that the Kenya has been leading the way with a mobile phone-based financial services platform set in motion by M-Pesa, a money transfer system that gradually advanced into real-time retail payments and further into a virtual savings and credit supply, financial inclusion through mobile banking. Friends, I am told that the Kenya has been leading the way with a mobile phone-based financial services platform set in motion by M-Pesa, a money transfer system that gradually advanced into real-time retail payments and further into a virtual savings and credit supply platform. I am sure there would be many more such initiatives in India and Africa where we can learn from each other. Friends, when we talk about a country's development and growth, the importance of security is often not given importance it deserves and is sometimes even considered antithetical to the pursuit of development. It is logical, incoherent, and historically inaccurate to consider security and development as antitheses of one another. I believe that the full potential of society's development can be realized only when its security is ensured. Friends, once we accept the status of security as the bedrock of development, the role of a strong and effective state system becomes crystal clear. The modern state system in India and African countries came into being only after they achieved independence.